friends. I'm kind of a mess. If y'all watched my live on, oh, I don't want you to see my naked mannequin. If you watched my live on Wednesday, y'all know I have not been feeling good this week. I'm feeling better than Wednesday, so hopefully I'm not as big of a mess as I was on Wednesday. But I still am a little bit disjunted. Just
Disgruntled?
no, I'm not disgruntled.
Disjointed?
There's certain
Disappointed?
things I'm disgruntled about. We can talk about those today if you want
Yeah.
as well. These live shows, I don't know what to do with my life.
But
And I'm
your reels look so fun. Are you having any fun?
I am, and I was actually just thinking about that with the reels. So sorry, I'm pulling up what we wanted to talk about.
Okay.
This is what I wear. I wear a hoodie and I have sweatpants on. Like that's
100%.
my life. And when I go pick the kids up, sometimes I'll put a pair of jeans on to get fancy. And so it is kind of fun to like dress up. And although I did a reel today and I would put something on and I was like, well, I'm definitely keeping that.
I saw that and I voted yes, you should keep it. So
It's a size smaller than I normally wear. So I didn't even think to do it. But when I do these reels, I was like, I can fit into like things that don't really
right.
fit. I just don't
You're
really
just
move.
like just to show it real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I put it on and I was like, well, that fits and it's like super soft. And obviously I like what it said on it. So if you guys want to see what it is, head on over to my Instagram stories.
Yeah.
Because I put a picture up on there. But I am having fun with it. And so maybe it's just like an outlet and not necessarily, I don't know. I'm going to do it for November and December.
Yeah.
Gather lots of data. It's definitely helping me like hit some goals. Is
Yeah.
it worth my time in the long run?
Right. Well, my question is like, what is the fundamental assumption under should I keep doing it? Or is the question more like, in what context should I do it? Like, if you're just incorporating it all the time, every week at, forever ad infinitum, then like maybe not. But if you're like, oh, I'm trying to reach this goal and, halfway through the month, it's like looking like not very likely if things don't pick up significantly, like maybe then you do it. I mean, do you feel like that's a way to think of it?
That's kind of what I was thinking. The thing is I mean, I guess I have a social media following that I put the effort into, but for people who don't have that, like you have to, it's like social media selling. So you
Right.
have to like build up. And so I think if you just hop on every once in a while, the other thing that I'm wondering, like it's in beta right now on Poshmark.
Yeah.
So there's not that many people doing it.
Right.
Once it opens up to millions of sellers, are people even going to want to watch these shows? And if they do, it's going to suppress your sales even further because now it's like completely oversaturated, right?
Right. And there's so many more things to watch at once. Yeah.
Yeah. So I go back and forth, and I'm glad that I can spew at you because my husband's like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know.
Like, I'm trying to figure it out. It's called external processing. Okay.
I know I'm like spewing, but I did tell him because last week, I think or maybe the week before, you said something, and I told myself it like 7 times this week, and
Oh my gosh.
no, it was so good, and now I can't remember what it was because I am like in a fog of something about there's opportunity in the chaos.
Oh yeah, girl.
And when I was like, these live shows are killing me and I don't want to do that. And I was like, there's opportunity in the
like, your mantra.
Because I'm working overtime, right? Like I'm not willing to get rid of my normal processes because it's not making up for it.
Yeah.
So I'm just putting in extra hours. All right. That's all I'm going to say about Posh shows unless people have questions. I feel like I took over the past couple of weeks. Hello, friends. Cynthia's here. Bobby loves to thrift. Miss Tempting Treasures. Welcome.
Yay.
Blue Water Pines. I appreciate them. I don't know. They're always comment. I don't know if it's doesn't matter. I appreciate them. They're always commenting on my videos and very insightful. May I please ask a question pertaining to Facebook selling groups and the parameters for connecting your eBay listings? You are welcome to. I don't know that we can.
I don't know anything about that, but please ask the question. I'm curious what the actual question is. So
yes, and maybe someone in the comments.
Yeah, that's very true.
So do we want to do some what solds? Start with
Sure.
that. Don't forget. I don't have any brought up. So if you want to talk about yours, and I'll pull a couple up.
Okay. So a couple notable things in the last week. This I wanted to mention because we've sort of talked about it before, but I actually sold what I would consider to be a small piece of furniture. It was about 40 inches tall, and it was like a mahogany Bombay Company globe on a stand, like a library globe. Really cool.
Ooh, yeah.
Not super heavy, but had to go in like a very oversized box. And
Fragile.
yes,
Fragile?
it's sold for, yeah, a little bit fragile. I mean, you have to pack it well. It's not like made of glass, so you could put it in one box that's packed really well rather than like double box. But it was pretty huge. It was like 18 by 18 by 40 basically, for the, just for a frame of reference, like the box that it went in.
Significantly larger than anything I saw.
Yeah, but it was $167, I think, was the actual like purchase price. Guess how much the shipping cost? I wanted you to guess.
Okay, so
Or yeah,
normally I would say something dumb, like something, I don't want to say dumb because it's not dumb because I don't
no,
know.
it's not, yeah,
I would say something outrageous like $500 or something like
right,
big. But after a conversation last week on how cheap you can actually do stuff like that, I'm thinking like 20 or $30.
yeah,
Was
pretty
it?
close. It was 37.29.
See, I would have never have guessed that.
I
I
know.
still don't want to do it.
Yeah, no.
How did you ship
But
it? That's the thing. Like, I just put my stuff in a
yeah,
poly bag and call it a day. Like,
yeah.
how
This
did
was
you
like,
actually ship it?
well, it was UPS. I sent it UPS, but I have another fun shipping thing to tell you. And also really quick, FedEx, if you do ship stuff that isn't just in a poly bag, FedEx has lowered their rates during this time, which is amazing. Or if you bundle a bunch of stuff together, that can be really helpful too. But
Yeah, I keep seeing like a notification at the top. And
yeah,
do
which
that.
is Q4 is usually not the time that any carriers lower their rates. So that's kind of a big deal. Usually there's a little bit of a surcharge for the holidays. But anyway, if
Yeah,
you're
that's
looking to ship something big or heavy or both, like check out FedEx if you have written it off in the past. I would still suggest like looking through eBay's, like that's a contract with eBay specific price change, I think. So look through
so you have to do it through eBay.
I think so. Not 100% sure, but anyway. But yeah, so I just put it in a box and I wrapped it really well in this, which is like foam sheets, basically. They are very thin. I'll show you what they look like.
So your cost to ship is probably a lot higher too. Like, I have a poly bag and I don't really buy shipping supplies. The shipping supplies that we get for eBay for free
Yeah.
every quarter is enough with the USPS free boxes. Like, I don't
Yeah. It's
I
not enough for me quite, but I do use a lot of the free shipping, like you can see right here. These are all free USPS.
but like the stuff that you pack it in and stuff you have to pay for, like that stuff you're buying.
Yes, but like for example, this giant roll that I just picked up is actually about halfway gone already, and it was like $15. So it goes. I mean, I've probably been using it for 6 months. Like it's not that expensive, but I also recycle as much as I can. Occasionally, I'll look on like Facebook Marketplace or something for like free shipping supplies or packing materials. So I try to do that. Also, this was awesome this week. You may have seen it if you happen to look in my stories, you would have seen a giant like 3-person sized bag of pink packing peanuts that arrived at my house on a pallet. And what happened with that was I ordered them a wooden pallet. They were like strapped to a pallet. This bag is like huge. Like I can't even describe how large it is. But
Where'd you find it?
what?
Where'd you find it? Like,
Okay, so I ordered it, but normally they come in like 4 smaller bags. So it was all just in one enormous bag. But I ordered it from an eBay seller and it was supposed to arrive at my house last Friday and it hadn't even shipped yet. And so the next day I was like, please refund this. It hasn't even shipped and I needed it like yesterday, literally. And so they refunded it and then it showed up at my house anyway. So I got
what do you do?
free $80 bag of packing peanuts.
Did you tell them that it came still, or do you like how do you handle that?
The case is already closed. There's nothing I can do. So they should have probably checked the tracking instead of just instantly refunding me. So it's a lesson to you. If you
Yes, especially something like that. My stuff isn't that. Like, there's
yeah,
often times that I'm like, I'm just gonna refund you and not have you deal with sending it back because
yeah,
I'm not gonna make any money. By
right.
the time I pay to ship
So
it back and then someone else buys it again, like I'm gonna make $1.
exactly. And so maybe for the scale of their business, that's just what they do. But it was lucky for me because literally that is like
But then how
expensive.
do you store it, right? Because I'm thinking about that too. So my brother-in-law
Sitting in my
sells like
garage.
all the right, so you have to have a lot of space too. Like my brother, I'm thinking like boxes and stuff
Yeah.
too. You have to have
Yeah.
like every, especially with as many listings as you have to have every size box
Well,
available for the
especially with something like packing peanuts, that's probably the most expensive thing that I buy, and I use them sparingly. Like, if there's anything else I can use that will work just as well, I will use something else first, like paper or, like newspaper or something, or recycled materials, or those air pillows like these. They're like just full of air.
And so when you get those in shipments, you keep them all. You don't
Yeah,
let your kids like
exactly.
stomp on them and
Yeah, right. Although
oh no.
that is really fun. Yeah, I'm like, no, give me all those. But yeah, like I'll show you really quick over here. All of that is just boxes in case I need a large box, kind of a box goblin. But every once in a while I'll like thin them out, and you know, I do keep in stock most things are still smaller, or they fit in like a USPS, 12 by 12 by 9 priority box. And so
But then you have to ship it that way. Like you
yeah,
can
then you have to ship it that way. But like if it fits in that size box, it's probably over a pound anyway. So I probably will ship it that way. So I mean, most of the time, I'd say like probably 75% of the time, I'm using either eBay branded free supplies or USPS free supplies. But the other stuff I do have to kind of keep on hand just in case I need it. And I probably keep it more than I need to, really. I probably overdo that a little bit.
No, because when you don't, then you're gonna get rid of a box and then something's gonna sell tomorrow that you
You're
need.
gonna be like,
My brother-in-law sells very miscellaneous, doesn't have as many items as you, but his basement, there's more boxes than there is actual stuff that he sells
yeah,
because he wants to have like all the different sizes and
yeah.
a lot of the stuff he keeps for himself too. But his basement's really fascinating. Okay, we do have a question. Were we talking about something?
Well, we started in on what sold, and I got one item into that, and you haven't said any either. So I do have a few more things to share about that. But
yes, okay. Let's finish your what solds. My what solds are kind of boring. So if we don't get to my what solds, I won't be too heartbroken.
Okay.
So let's do your what solds because yours are interesting, I think, and things people can learn from.
Yeah, there was the big globe, so that was cool. That was also one of the highest dollar things I sold in the last week, so that was good. I also sold an Hermes necktie, and I had bought 2 of these for $2 each at one of my favorite thrift stores literally 5 years ago. One of them immediately sold for like $200. The other one has been sitting in my inventory. I've renewed the listing and sold similar like multiple times, like over the years, whatever. And it finally sold for like $75. I think I sent an offer on it.
So have you gotten offers and not taken them?
I maybe have, like, back then, closer to when I listed it. I haven't got any offers on it in a long time. So that's why I was like, yes, get this out of here.
I've definitely sold that brand ties for less than that. So I didn't know if you were holding out or if it was like a special.
Well, no, I think because I list priced them high to begin with, and the first one sold immediately, like for almost $200, I think. So I was like, well, then why wouldn't this other one? But I don't know, it just maybe it wasn't as cool or something. But then I also wanted to show.
I'm going to touch on that too because I sell kind of in that category. It's one of the few men's things that I sell. Looking at ties at the bins is the place because then they cost you like a quarter.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Nobody, at least where I go to the bins, I don't go that often, but when I go, nobody looks at the ties. And so I'll usually just like grab, and they're usually like all donated together, right? So I usually just grab the whole thing of them and then keep going and then looking through them. And I would say 9 times out of 10, you find some kind of high end. It's not always like super, super high end, but even, I mean, and then they take up such little space too.
I know.
Selling for $30.
Well, and speaking of that, so this was my last like thing that sold today. I made a little laundry list. This is literally the things I've sold today so far: salad plates, a mug, switch plate covers, baby pajamas, a candlestick holder, a vintage record, and a 1970s wind up piano shaped music box. And this really fun cow pin. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's it's like a longhorn. Well, somebody bought 3 of these for $20 each. So that was like a $60 sale. It's awesome enamel lapel pin. People collect the crap out of these, and they are tiny. They're super cool. They're super easy to store. They're super lightweight to ship.
Where do you find how do you know which ones to pick up? Or do
I
you?
mean, I pick up all of them pretty much because I have sold cool ones, what I would deem to be cool ones. I have sold like boring, stupid ones that I would deem not to be cool, but somebody's looking for them. And I mean, not all of them will sell for like $20. I've sold some for more than that before too, but I would say the average price that I list them is probably like $12 to $15. And again, like that was kind of a holdover from COVID times when I would buy a huge lot of things and individually list them. But the cool thing about that is like what happened today, where there's a collector who finds three that they love, and then it's a $60 sale. And I probably did pay like 10 cents for this.
Do
So
you have anything on your store to encourage like multiple quantities, like a volume price discount or like shipping
So, well,
or
right now I have just a coupon that's like, I think $10 off for every $50, but I've never had any traction with the multiple quantities, which is funny. I mean, people, I think what typically happens is people will just make a bunch of offers and I'll be like, oh, this is the same person. They're essentially just building their own bundle. And
yeah.
I'll give them a great discount on that if they're building their own bundle. And as soon as I accept the first offer, they know I'm going to take their other offers. And so they make a bunch more.
I
So,
know, and every once in a while I accept a really low offer and then I realize that they're doing that and I'm like, well crap. Now I have to like right, because if they're doing it for 5, then I'm like, well, I would have taken it for that one, but like
right.
but they've already caught me and like and so I usually just go ahead and do it.
Just do it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I will, especially right now, because I'm trying to thin the herd, pun intended, for moving. Not that this is going to be a pain to move 600 miles away, but
No, but for
everything else.
$60?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's legit. All right, let's get to some questions. And then if you guys want to see some of my what solds, I can show you. I don't think they're I brought up 3 things because I'm trying new strategies and I'm doing them on my channel and showing videos and stuff. And so I brought up
yeah.
things that sold via sell similar. Items
Mm.
that I had had for a really long time. And I have
Interesting.
never sold similar before. So I've been on eBay for 3 or 4 years this December. I don't remember.
Oh,
But either way, I've never done sell similar. So if it's an old
yeah,
listing, it's been out there for 3 years.
yeah.
It's
That's how
interesting.
my whole store was until like May or June of this year too. I had never done it.
I'm digging it. I mean, things are selling. It's helping.
Yeah,
All right. So let's get to some questions. And then if you guys want to see, let me know. That's the one we already answered. What is the fastest way to make bundles on 2 or more items on Poshmark? So I'll try and answer this, but if I don't answer it correctly, let me know because it depends on what you're getting at. If you're wondering as a buyer how to make a bundle, you can just hit the little shop button, like the little, let me pull it up to show you exactly what it looks like. So I can describe it. I can't actually show you because it's on my phone. But if you go to someone's closet, there's like in the middle of a listing, there's like a little shopping bag and it has a plus. If you hit that, then that makes a bundle from that person's closet. So if that's your question, that's how you do it. If you are trying to make a bundle for somebody else, like you have like as a seller, someone's like, hey, I want to buy multiple items. I want Lululemon in size 6. Do you have any of those? You would go to your closet and you would do the same thing. What's kind of a pain is you have to like write down their exact name because you'll share it and then it'll say, who do you want to share it to? And then you have to share it to whoever you're contacting. And then you can make a bundle for them. What I'm wondering if what they're asking is Poshmark, because we were talking about Poshmark Lives. When this came in, Poshmark Lives, that's the other thing with the Lives is they don't have a bundle feature.
yeah.
And so people are wanting to buy multiple items and then they have to pay $7 for every item. And so you either have to not offer bundles and then you lose out on sales, or you offer bundles. And so what I've been doing for that is I'm offering bundles if they do 5 items because it's so much work on the seller. But I'm like, if they're going to buy 5 items,
Yeah.
like, it's worth me spending a little bit of time on the back end doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I've been doing is I just go in and take a picture of every item that they have purchased, just the main picture and then the price underneath it. And I put those all into one listing and I type bundle for blah, 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 and whatever price it would be. And then I send it to them. I do not cancel their purchase items until they purchase the bundle. And I tell them they have 24 hours, 3 hours, whatever time period you want to do to make sure that you don't cancel it. And
60
then
seconds, go.
yeah, right. There are some that I'm like, listen, I'm shipping in an hour.
Oh, yeah.
Get it together. Or I'll say I'm shipping in an hour if you want it now. Otherwise, you can buy it by tomorrow.
I like that.
So I hope that answered the question. It was like 3 different ways. I don't know if that was the question.
Sounds fair to me.
A friend is trying to join Facebook groups to share his items. listed on eBay, the people in the group were adamant in stating that one can only post a photo of the item and the listing, not a link to their eBay.
I don't know. I mean, I would believe that because I think Facebook wants the sales to happen on their platform. So I could see that being the case. Just like on eBay, you can't really like, direct people off of eBay to complete the sale or, I don't know if that's true, but I would guess that it is.
I would concur with that unless it's like a eBay listed, like unless it's like an eBay specific group, like sell your items on eBay on Facebook or something.
But like, why would Facebook do that?
Right.
Facebook, what are you doing? No,
it would make sense that they want to keep it in there. Hi, I am wondering, I am noticing that my eBay listings have been getting very unusually low number of views recently. Are you noticing that?
I have not super been noticing that, but the first two things that came to my mind were, if they're updating stuff on the site, sometimes that happens. And then also back to our old friend Sell Similar, if these are super old listings and they're not getting very much traction, and by super old, I mean older than 90 days, then you might want to Sell Similar. And that could bump them up for sure.
And I will add, those are my thoughts as well. I will add one other thing. I'm wondering how recent, because I know within, I want to say 6 months, maybe less than that, they changed how they looked at views.
Oh, right. That's true. Yeah.
So it used to, like, you used to have like 7,000 views and then it went to like 4, right?
Yeah.
And I don't, you'd have to look at it. It was one of their updates. So maybe it was the spring. Because I don't think it was this fall one. They changed how they looked, how they
counted something as a view.
Yes, correct. So it was still getting the same whatever, but the way that the numbers that they were giving us changed. So it could be that things are still the same. It's just the number they're showing us is different.
Yeah, it could be. I was going to say, if you do Sell Similar, the history of the activity on that listing is going to start over. So you won't have the watchers or, the views that you had. Like, you won't see those continue to accumulate. They will start over. But a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people who watch my items, at least, if, whenever I refresh them by Selling Similar, it's like they must have like a saved search for that item and they go and they find it. And also if it's on your watch list, I don't know if you ever noticed this, but you have something on your watch list and you go to your watch list and it's like, this listing has ended. If the seller has relisted it, it'll say the seller relisted this item, go see the item in the new listing. And then you can just put it back on your watch list. There's like a prompt for that in your watch list.
I don't shop that much on eBay, and I've realized when I do, it actually makes me a better seller because then I look at it from the buyer's perspective and that to where I'm like, oh, like that makes sense. I should do that as a seller to, like, I can't do that, but there's other things that I was buying something and I was like, oh, I liked this. Oh, it was a coupon. I was buying something and items and I was like, well, I could send an offer and see if they get it, or I could just buy it right now and not have to deal with it. And so I just bought the one with a coupon because I was like, I don't want to deal and then come back and pay. And like that's what prompted me to do a coupon the first time.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Pam Davis. Oh, one more thing for Sell Similar, because it dawned on me at like 3:00 in the morning this morning when my 5-year-old was up going to the bathroom, and of course he has to let me know. If you're going to be doing Sell Similar, you have to be mindful of the store size that you have and how many listings available that you have.
Yep.
Because I was like, so I started with like 5 a day and I was like, okay, I feel comfortable with the process. And I went up to 25 a day and I'm like, I'm going to like crank it out. I'm like, all of my old stuff, I'm going to go in and do like 500 a day until everything's like new 3.
Yeah.
Like, and then in the middle of the night, I was like, I
then
need
I'll have to pay listing
things to be able to do that. Right. And I do, but you got to be mindful if you're like right on that tipping point.
Yeah. The only thing that saved my butt on that is that about half of my listings are in categories where eBay has this long-standing promotion of additional free listings in like collectible categories. So I think technically I can go up to like 10 or 12,000 listings without, paying per item. And, even if I turned over like half of my store in a month, it would be half of that would be captured in those additional free listings. So I don't ever come close to maxing it out, but like that is definitely a consideration.
I think was it maybe at the beginning or mid of COVID, the pandemic, they like went crazy on offering
Yeah.
listings, and I don't think they ever really took that back.
No, I don't think so. At least not the ones that affected me. They've never rolled it back. So
Yeah, and I've never noticed. I know that I was like right on the cusp of having to go up, and then they went from like 200.
yeah.
I think they went from like 2,000 to like 10,000. I was
Oh
like,
yeah, they changed the whole structure of the stores. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot
yeah,
about that.
yeah.
Well,
So
and
let
they were
me
doing those promotions too. Like, here's a bunch of free listings in these categories. But anyway, I have a
know.
theory about why that is. But let's get to some more questions.
Oh, let's do. I have a theory too. Tell me why you think it is.
Well, I think it's because something that Andrea Stairs told us while we were in California, that basically during COVID, they realized that having all these small mom and pop sellers was their secret sauce. And that was like the strength of eBay, instead of trying to be like Amazon and like push for, this kind of homogenized thing. And I think they were like, oh, dang, we need to encourage people who are like hobbyists, part-time sellers, these mom and pop shops. And that's a huge way to encourage people who are already probably looking for income stability, additional streams of income during COVID. Like, it was a really great time to do that, to encourage people to get on the platform.
Or like side hustle part-time sellers that were like, well, I don't want to go up in a store size. And so
Right.
I'm gonna do it. And so I didn't put the two together because that was not my theory, but I think they said it. Like they were trying
Yeah.
to get more people, and they
Yeah.
didn't want that to be a stopping point. Like, I don't want to pay for listings.
Yeah.
But now that you say that, that was definitely like, you could see the turning point in eBay of you have to do free shit. Like, we had to compete with Amazon
Right.
for supporting the small seller. Like, you could definitely see that turning point.
And I was like,
Yeah, it's been very nice, for sure. So someone is asking, how do I put a sale on my whole store? I put a link in the video down below. I'm not going to do the how-to video. You absolutely can do it. You can set parameters. You can do a rule. So if you want jackets and coats, every time you list a jacket and coat, it comes on. And I walk through step by step on the tutorial down below. It should be a link because it's my channel. However, I'm in StreamYard and not YouTube. So if it doesn't come up as a link, let me know, and then I'll link it like in the comments or something. Let's see. If you guys do have questions, we have things to talk about, but I'm happy to talk about or answer questions as well. Poshmark, what is the fastest way to send so I think this is clarifying. What is
oh
the
yeah,
fastest way to send a bundle offers on 2 or more
bundle offers.
items? If it's just one person, you just go in and you send it to them. They have my shoppers feature. So if you go to, I should connect my phone so you guys can see this. Or should we try and, I don't know how to do it in Poshmark. I don't want to show customer. I'm always nervous to like go in, accidentally like click on something and it's live. And so I'm going to show you guys customer data. I'm just going to walk you through on my phone. So hopefully it works. What's the question? Oh, yes. So you can just send it to the person and you just send an offer. Like, they have a bundle and there's a little offer button at the bottom. But if you go to your account on the bottom, it'll say like what your account is, and you scroll down to my shoppers, and then you can like send out bulk offers to likers. You can send out bulk bundles. So you can send an offer to anyone who has a bundle created. You can also send comments to like past buyers and past shoppers, and it's better than it used to be. It's still very, very time consuming. I did this like on Saturday night as I was watching a show. I was like, I'm gonna like all my past buyers for the past 6 months, I'm gonna go in and like tell them like 30% off anything you want. There's alarm one, friends. Alarm one. And so I spent an hour sending out like, right. Which is better than it was. You don't know, Anna. It's better than it was.
Yeah, I'm just like,
but it's still very time consuming. And then you have to, like, I'm scrolling through and doing it, and then it goes one by one, and you don't have to do it, but you have to keep your phone and your app up. So I couldn't do anything else on my phone. Business policies. Do you use business policies?
I do.
Okay, good. Because I don't. I need to, especially.
Awesome. I love it. Never going back.
I need to. When they first came out, it was new on eBay, new-ish. And I
Yeah.
was scared, and I had my processes, and it messed up one listing. And I was so new that I was like, I don't know what just happened. I'm never doing it again. I should add it. So this is a question for you. Do you use business policies? Do you use calculated or flat rate shipping? Thanks for sharing your knowledge.
Absolutely. So I do use business policies. I have a free shipping business policy that anything that's going to go first class, like under a pound, automatically free shipping. Also, anything that I know, like a pair of jeans, for example, that will fit in one of these. Hold on.
I probably have them here. I know what you're going for.
These are like $760 or $790 or something. So if I know,
they're like $830 right now.
not for me on eBay, girl, they're $760.
No.
Mm-hmm.
For the holiday? They went
Yeah.
up. Oh,
Yesterday or like today? Yesterday they were still $760 for me. I don't know.
That's weird because I'm gonna have to look at it now. I'm almost positive, and they shouldn't be different for the two of us. I only ship.
No, they shouldn't, unless the store subscription matters, because I might have a bigger one than you, but maybe not.
For sure, have a bigger one than me.
Do I? I don't know, because they changed the limits. Okay, well, TBD. We'll figure that out.
Oh yeah. I want to know now. But either way, it's like $8.
You're like, are you paying like 40 cents less than me? I'd be so mad.
I thought it was $830.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we'll figure it out. And
I'm gonna look it up. Okay.
We'll report back. But if I know it fits in one of those, then I also put it in the free shipping business policy. And I just build that into the price of the item. Okay. If it's anything that is going to be like, especially being on the East Coast, if I send something to like Hawaii priority mail, it's like astronomically expensive compared to sending it to like Alabama. Right. So I'm in Georgia, by the way. So I put anything that's going to be over a pound that will not fit in that mailer into my calculated shipping business policy. And I also have like a couple other kind of one-offs. They're not completely one-off, but like if it's furniture, for example, I do have a local pickup shipping policy for business. Business policy for shipping is what I meant to say. And then I think I have one more that's like, maybe it's free shipping, but domestic only, because there are certain things like furs and things like that you can't ship to every single country in the global shipping program. And I don't want to deal with selecting countries out and like all that stuff. So I probably honestly have like 4 or 5, but the main 2 that I use for like 99% of my inventory are a free shipping policy that's going to be, free economy shipping, which is always going to be either a flat rate thing that I know the cost of that I'm going to pay, and I build that into the item, or first class shipping, which is usually under $5. Or it's calculated. And it gives the options in my calculated shipping one of priority mail, FedEx, or UPS. That's how I use it. And then if I need to, like I actually just did this because I'm selling a lot right now. Praise the Lord, which is great. But
it's so much more shipping.
Yes, exactly. And I was like, I don't want to overrun myself. So I'm going to make my handling time. I'm going to change my handling time to 2 business days instead of next day. It's like 2 days now. And I did that super easily by just changing it in the business policy, and it updated every listing in the business policy.
Oh. Okay. So for those that are new and don't know what business policies are, correct me if I'm wrong as I say this, you can go in and create like this policy. And so then when you are going in and listing, you select free shipping, and everything that you selected, it makes a listing quicker, right? And then it makes updating, like you just said, significantly quicker if you needed, which is smart, because then you can go in and like, let's say they up their prices and first class is now, well, you do free shipping, but first class is now, $1 more. Instead of going in and having to figure that out, you just update your business policy and it updates it.
Yes, that's correct.
I need to put that on my list.
It makes it way easier. And it's like, there's definitely like quibbles with it. It's not perfect, but it's so much easier, like most of the time. And
so if you don't use business policies, would I have to go in individually and add them, or I would just start with my new ones? And
you could bulk edit. Once you create the business policy, you could bulk edit your listings and select all of them in the bulk editor, and then go to the shipping policy, like part of the bulk editor, and select it.
But then you'd have to bulk edit all of the ones that are like first class, and then bulk edit all the, like you'd have to.
Yes, you'd have to select all those and bulk edit those together. Yeah, that's right.
All right. Make sure to like this video if you guys want a video on how to do that, because I need to do it, because it is easier, especially when you have virtual assistants, right?
Yes.
Especially like mine are fully trained, but if I were to get a new one, like they know shipping now. They know what it all means. But if I'm like, it's a pair of jeans, this is what you select, or this is like significant. So what can you do business policies on? Shipping? What else can you set up?
Shipping, returns, and payment. Like you can, pretty much they're trying to make everyone pay immediately now, but there's like certain stipulations, like if it's local pickup or if you accept the best offer right now, you can't say immediate, payment or whatever is required. So that may become a moot point sometime, but it's definitely like shipping, returns, and payment.
Okay, which I don't think the other ones would be that helpful.
Yeah, they're all the same for all my listings for those other two categories. Shipping's the only one that I have like multiple different ones.
And I know shipping better now. When I was trying to set it up, I didn't know enough about shipping that I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to do this up. Anna, what's a good bolo you know? So we talked
Oh
about one
my
at the beginning.
gosh.
Duncan, I think. Well, no, was it a bolo? Kind of. Those I would say
Yeah.
those pins are a bolo
You see
for
the little pins, enamel. I mean, this is a vintage pin, but an enamel like lapel pin of any kind is going to be collectible, especially if it's figural, like a cow or a person or like an identifiable object.
a noun, a person, place, or thing.
Yeah, if it's a noun, exactly.
I have a second grader. Can you tell?
Yeah. Well, the thing Duncan, thank you for the opportunity to plug my book because I was going to say,
to do that yet. I'm so sorry.
no, it's okay. I was going to say though, this sweater is a Coogie, an Australian, like awesome vintage, 80s, 90s sweater. Biggie Smalls wear them all the time. Bill Cosby wear them all the time. They made them famous. And they are super cool. They're unmistakable. Like, see how they're like woven really crazy, and like every one of them's unique. They're so colorful and awesome. If you ever see one of those, buy it. Even if it's like damaged, whatever, buy it because they're worth a lot of money. I have one over here right now that's listed for like $800. No lie.
I had a boyfriend in my 20s and he used to wear them. And I was like, that is the ugliest thing I have ever
seen. Now they're so cool.
What are you doing? And then now, once I got into reselling, he was wearing them when they,
yeah, they were like first cool, probably.
Yeah. I mean, and he was cool. And he was a sneakerhead, and I'm like, you would have been like where it's at reselling right now. Like, obviously, he is not my husband.
You're like, I hope you saved all that crap though, for real.
I know. I don't know if he saved it or not. But it was always like 7 sizes too big, right?
Yeah.
I need someone to do listings. Who do you recommend and how do you find it? Well, we both have someone do our listings.
Well, I do my own listings.
Oh, but you have someone else work for you.
I have someone else do the photos. So I want to hear your answer because I don't really have one. So.
Okay. Well, you have someone to work for you. So I have a virtual assistant. I have tried various different ways. The first one that I have was someone who followed me on social media, and she was actually helping me learn eBay amongst some other people. And she was like, I actually do listings. You want me to like do these for you to get everything over from Poshmark to eBay? And I was like, oh my God, yes, I would love that. And then I never let her stop. I was like, can you do this all the time? And so it took me, like, I'm not the best lister because I've never actually really listed on eBay. I've done like my own here and there, but when people ask me listing questions, I'm like, I don't know. I don't list. Like they changed. I think I said last time they changed how it all looked. And I mean, it was months ago and I just looked the other day. It was her like a part-time side gig for her. So it was, via social media, just whatever, but she couldn't do it anymore. So then I went to Upwork. It's like you can hire almost anything on Upwork, but what's nice is they like take care of the payment. They track your hours. If you are a micromanager, which I am not, but if you are, you can like see their screenshots, which is kind of like in the beginning to make sure that they're doing, or like if they're like, oh, I have a question, you can like actually see what they're looking at. I'm not a micromanager though. But so I go through Upwork now. I have tips and tricks I have a virtual assistant video on like how to hire them and what to like my process for it. If you want more in-depth into that, I have tried some of the like services out there. And I will say every single one of them were not, and I'm not even very particular, but they were not very good listings. And they were never done the way that I asked. Where if you hire someone,
give feedback and like improve it. Yeah.
Right. And the people that I hired weren't actually virtual assistants for eBay. They didn't even know how to do it. They were, I think one was like a data expert, like they were familiar with spreadsheets, which I have them do spreadsheet work. And then he was like, hey, my niece is looking for work. Do you need someone else? And I was like, yeah, let's do this. And he was like, I'll train her. And I was like, that works. So they weren't even eBay virtual assistants. It's not that hard. And I actually kind of like training them myself instead of them already having bad habits. Not
that you have to
necessarily bad
unlearn.
habits, but like things that other people wanted, where I can just tell
Yeah.
them exactly. That was my long run. But you
No,
have
that's
works
a
for
good
you.
point though. It's like a clean slate is sometimes a good thing.
It takes a couple of weeks up front to train them, but it's really not
Mhm.
rocket science, especially if you have processes and you list the same things.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Um,
mean, yeah, I was gonna say I don't ever have someone complete my listings because I'm not a micromanager of people, but I'm a micromanager of my listings. So
well, 'cause you wanna make them sure. So when they do the listing, they make a draft,
yes,
and then I make it live.
that
Um,
yeah.
so there are I mean, I do go in and, like, change things, that I know I'm like, "Oh, well, this is Y2K, and I know that you should add that keyword," or, like, just
Right.
little things that, like, I can change or make sure that, this just came up. I got a Vero violation this week. Have you had a Vero?
Ugh, I have. They suck.
They do. It dings your account, right? But
Oh
just
yeah,
one is fine? One is fine?
that one is fine. I mean, yeah, and even if you had more than one, I think they do. There's a process to like investigate it and be like, are you just out here like selling fake stuff? And if you're not, and you're like in good faith, you know,
So I started that. Here's the background so you guys can trust that I'm a good seller. So it was for a stock photo. It was for Eileen Fisher. So be careful if you're using their stock photos. It's absolutely
uh,
illegal on eBay to use stock photos that you don't have permission for. I've said it time and time again, and I don't. However, when I was doing liquidation lots, I had permission from the places that I was buying liquidation from that took the pictures to use it. So I use stock photos on anything that I had liquidation lot. And I even say in my listing, like I have permission for these. And so then
yeah,
it got taken down and I got an email. And so I'm like in the process of saying, hey, I have like I sent the email and said,
yeah,
hey, I had permission to use these. That being said, I haven't done liquidation in 2 years. And so I had my virtual assistants take all my stock photos off
yeah,
because I was like, even if this goes out of the way and it's just not worth it anymore, I had permission, but dealing with all of this, it's not worth it.
yeah. Well,
Sorry, that was a complete like side thing. I just remembered we were talking and I was like,
yeah,
that
yeah.
needs to be talked
No,
about.
I've never had them for stock photos, but I've had them for like using a word, you know, like using the word onesie because that's a trademarked word from Gerber or like
Velcro.
Velcro. Yeah, stuff like that. So, and that was, I mean, mostly really early on. Like, I can't think of a time recently when that's happened, but you know, it's like, yeah, but it is. Like, I
I
don't know.
know.
This is your brand. Like, I don't know. It's
Take
just,
it, right? Take it as like a
yeah.
all right. So Duncan's asking, should one offer free shipping, free returns on which types of items, heavy or only small?
So I offer free returns on everything and I just eat it and you know, resell it if
What's your
it's
return rate?
something unfortunate. Super low. Like I think below 1% for sure. But it's super low. Also though, you know, free returns, if they return it and it's damaged or something, you know, you don't have to just eat it. Like there's recourse for you if it's not returned in like sellable condition. So
If you're a top rated seller.
yeah. And so I mean that is kind of the beauty of having like a really large inventory store is that, you know, if a couple things get returned that are actually expensive to ship, then I can kind of just take it. But I mean it sucks, but it does happen sometimes, you know.
Yeah. It's
But
interesting what your percentage because I am clothing mostly.
yes, almost
And
all of
it's
mine are clothing, but I
right.
have a lot of other stuff that offsets it.
Right, right. And so like when people are scared of it, I'm clothing and I'm still only at 5%. And it's all for fit, so it's all resellable. I've only had one person send something back that wasn't in the same condition. eBay pays you out 50% if you're top rated.
Yeah. Yeah.
So another reason to be top rated because you do get that protection. And I made more on that than I would have if I cleaned it and resold it. So I just donated it back.
Yeah.
It wasn't even an expensive item. And it was an accident because it was a bundle. They sent a couple other items back that weren't in bad condition either. And she's like, I asked my husband to do it. He must have left it in the car for like, and I'm like, yeah,
Oh no.
like,
You're like, well, that's relatable.
it had like sawdust on it. So I think she said he left it in the garage for a week. And I was like, yeah, that all checks out because everything else was fine.
Yeah.
I will say one other thing too on the free returns. So if you have free returns, you're top rated and you have free returns, you get a discount on all of your listings that sell it. So to me, it's the outweighing of the lowered fees on
Yeah.
all of the 95% that don't return.
Yeah.
To outweigh, and my stuff's cheap too, right? The most expensive thing to send back is $15, but it's usually like $5, sometimes $8, $7.60. It should be.
Yeah. Okay. No, Miss Tempting Treasures has corrected us about that, and I'm here to tell you that I've been just underpaying for my flat rate envelopes for 5 years. So
Yours is still $7.60.
well, I'm just choosing the wrong envelope apparently from the list.
Oh, you're not choosing padded. You're just choosing a flat rate.
I guess that must be the case.
And you've never gotten
Not in 5 years.
Oh, okay. Well, full disclosure, do not do that.
Don't do that.
No, you didn't know.
Now that I know, I'll do better. Thank you for letting me know.
And it's nice that you never got in trouble for it. There is a very big YouTuber who was doing that and telling people to do it.
Oh, no.
No one say their name. If you know who it is, you probably know who it is. And they were telling people to do it. So do not do that. Obviously, this was a mistake. Okay, well, I was like, I swear I had like all weight padded this morning.
Well, I love USPS and I will happily give them $8.30 if that's what it really is. So I will definitely do better. Thank you for correcting me.
Sometimes if they check it, like I've had something where I did first class and I didn't weigh it, and they charge you.
Yeah, I've had back charges for stuff like that occasionally where like I didn't, it was just like an error, and or whatever, and they're like, oh, this actually did not check out when it got here. But I guess they just spot check that stuff because
especially if you just drop off or have a pickup, right? Like you don't if you go to the counter, they like weigh.
Right.
Not to say you shouldn't do that. I find I'm not trying to get in sticky waters here, so we're done with this guy. Duncan, I am just remembering that a couple weeks ago there was a couple questions that we were gonna finish answering in the next live, and then we didn't. Sorry, friend.
Really?
A picture of them somewhere, maybe next week. I don't know where they are.
Put them in our doc, and we'll get to them.
Yes, I find since we are so close to recession, people are buying a lot in collectibles, especially old stamps they're investing in. I've heard this.
I don't have any stamps, so I don't know.
But you have collectibles.
Yeah, generally. I mean, but that could be anything from like a vintage, houseware to like, I don't know. I don't, not collectibles in the traditional sense of like comics and trading cards and matches or like stamps. Yeah, it's not that type of stuff usually.
One last question. It doesn't have to be a last question. Ask away. We are here for it. Another 15 minutes. This goes so fast.
Yeah, we got time. It does go fast.
When eBay suggests that I reduce by 5%, will my item move up in the algorithm as being sold as a competitive price? Okay.
I'll tell you what happens when you do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it moves it up in algorithm wise, but what it does do is send a notification to anybody who has watched or viewed or heavily browsed your item saying, hey, this item that you looked at or that you're watching or whatever just dropped in price. You have to drop it by at least 5% for that notification to get sent.
So is it dropping the actual price or running a sale works, or just?
I don't actually know. And maybe either way. I'm not sure.
I feel like the way that they word it says sale in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Put it on sale or something. I don't remember.
I bet it's either way, honestly, as long as it's a margin of at least 5%.
Yes. I don't know if it moves it up in the algorithm. There's probably so many other things that depends on, but the algorithm, and I've done a couple of videos on it, the algorithm is based off of buyer behavior.
Yeah.
And so if buyers are looking at it more now because they watched it or because they viewed it or because your listing now has an increase in people looking at it, so because of that, it may like bump it up. It's not like to make eBay happy and then they push it ahead. But if it's getting like more good data, more people are doing it.
It's not a popularity contest with eBay. Definitely not.
It's far more complex than that. Hello question. Do you both use Grailed? No.
Nope.
Sure don't. Poshmark and eBay, and then Anna's just eBay. Holiday flat rate envelopes. Yes. Okay. So that's the question. Sorry.
Like next.
I know. I already went there.
Wow.
Oh, here you go. Duncan wants a free author signed copy. Y'all, let me tell you a story. I have a copy.
Not signed.
not signed. And I
You know
know her
why?
personally.
Would you like to know why? Because when we were having our funnest week ever in California, I was like, how conceited would it be to hand you a signed
Oh
copy?
my God, I would have loved it.
Well, I could send you another one.
But I
Or,
bought this one after. You didn't give it to me. I bought it.
oh, maybe that was before I had the guts to sign them.
I want to support you. Well, I'm going to ship it back.
Actually, though, wait, did you buy it from my eBay store?
I don't remember. I bought it
If
from
you
whichever one you said was better. Whichever one.
If you bought it on Amazon, then those don't come from me. So that might have been what happened.
Oh yeah, we'll blame it on that. I'm just saying, Duncan. I'm just saying.
Also, though, Duncan, send me your address. I don't think I have your address. Don't say it in the comments. Just say
All right. And yeah, I mean he's in Australia, so it may be a bit. All right, let's see. I do free returns. And buyer pays returns under 1% return rate. Not sure if sales are being affected by it. I didn't notice an increase in my sales when I added free returns, but I noticed a decrease in my fees. And so I was like, well, even if I'm not making more sales, I'm making more money because I'm paying
keeping more money. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right.
I don't recall if it really made a huge difference for me either, but I was probably just doing a lot of things at once to try to build, you know.
Yes. Okay, what? Oh, all right.
That?
Is there questions? I'm scrolling through. I'm going to be top rated next week. Hooray! Congratulations!
That's awesome.
Okay, let's see. One more thing. We have like 3, 4, 7 minutes left, whatever. If you guys have questions before we hop off, if not, we had a couple things to talk about. Thank you, Sarah. Last week I was about to quit reselling for slow sales. You make my sales up after watching your tricks. Oh, that is absolutely amazing. I was wondering, I asked my husband this the other day. I was like, am I shooting myself in the foot by telling people how to increase their sales?
No.
Competition, right? Like
kinda, but is it when there's like so many people consuming the things we're selling?
Yeah, it's fine. But I was telling you, I was making a video and I was like, should I be telling people all of the things that I'm doing? Because like,
yes. Well, I have a piggyback comment off of that comment actually, because just earlier today, I watched whatever your video was that I think came out today. That was like, you were like, my sales are up by this much percent. Like, but you were looking through and seeing like, did your increase in promoted listings with eBay ads?
Yes.
Like, did it really work? And you were looking at like the amount of sales that were not through offers went up. And anyway, I pulled up it's like a 10-minute video, super great, highly recommend. I think it just came out, but I was watching it.
But yeah,
I
think it was last week. Yeah, it probably showed on your algorithm.
Oh, okay. Or I think I saw it through Instagram. So was it in your story? Did you put one in your story?
Maybe. Yeah.
Anyway, but I'm pretty sure I found it through Instagram. So it might be in your story today. But whatever it is, it was great. It was like I pulled up my own back end of eBay. And as you were going through yours, I was looking at my same numbers because I've done a similar thing and cranked up my promoted listings, my standard promoted listings, like, you know, I think it's at 18% right now, but it was so helpful to do that. And I'd recommend anybody on eBay who sells on eBay to do that and pull up your screen side by side with what Sarah's showing you, because then you can look and see like, what's the relationship between these two numbers and what does that tell you? Like, it was very helpful.
Have like warmed my heart because that is like every intent of my video. Like that is, I nailed it. I'm done.
You did nail it. You can just leave on a high note and Sarah quits now.
No, I mean, that is the intent of my video. Cause when I was writing, I was watching videos and like, you should do promoted listings. And I'm like, cool. What the fuck does that mean? Like,
right.
Where, like, show me and then show me what to look at and show me what to.
Right. Like, how do I know that it's working? And like, where do I go find this information? Also, because the back end of eBay is great in that it's highly detailed. It's not great in that it's kind of confusing because there's more than one place to look at certain metrics. And so
it's not always easy to find when you're new to the platform.
And so it gave me a lot of confidence. Like, yes, this strategy is working for me. And I hadn't even thought about looking at how are my sales that were not through offers going up. Like, yes, this means people are just finding my listing and buying it outright more often. And I was like, awesome, it's working.
Yay! So two things. One, I just did a video this morning. I'll come out in like 3 weeks because that's how I work. But by the time I get it uploaded and everything, but I did a video, and one of the things, it was like 7 things that I hate about eBay. And one of the things is how complicated it is. It's useful because there
Yeah.
is so much information, but it is so complicated. And I give a tip in the video. So like in 3 weeks, subscribe now, and in 3 weeks, you'll get the video.
Love it.
I was going to say something else. Oh, so I want to end this real quick. We have about 5 minutes. Because I wanted to talk. I always like your philosophical, especially like at the end. It like always sends me like
Just close it up with a little clinical psychology background. It's fine.
I know I need a saying to tell myself all week.
Oh my God.
I was sick this week.
Yes.
You are busy looking for a house. You put an offer in? You put an offer in?
Maybe today.
Okay. But you're like busy doing other things. And I was talking to someone on social media. Like we all work from home, and it's hard to not work all the time and like set time aside for hobbies and for being sick, right? Like I still was shipping and I still was listing, but I wasn't doing my normal things. So I want to hear, I'll say like my little spiel of what I do, but I kind of want to hear from you too. Like, how do you balance the reseller life and not work all the time, but then also take vacations and be sick and have a hobby or like enjoy time with your spouse, or you have other things going on too.
Yeah. You want to hear mine first?
Yeah.
Okay. So, man, a few things ran through my mind. So, one is just that if I'm stressing myself out about my store, I came from a background, right, where I saw therapy clients, loved that work, loved doing psychotherapy with people. It's an honor to work with people in such an intimate way, walking through the hardest parts of people's lives with them. Super awesome. However, it was really stressful sometimes. And like, specifically if there was like a mental health crisis or an emergency or someone is suicidal, and like that stuff happened like regularly, like that is the job. Okay. So a lot of times when I find myself getting stressed about eBay, I have to remind myself there are no emergencies on eBay. There are none. The worst thing that can happen is I cancel a sale and I get a ding on my account or whatever. There's no emergencies. So nothing is really worth stressing about.
And I perspective, because we do stress. We're like, what's going to happen to our sales if we take a week off? What's going to happen if I don't list today? What's going to happen? And I don't. It's hard to get, because if you go too far in that, then you're not doing anything.
Then you have no discipline. Right. But the thing is, I think that the success of a store like this is like, it's the consistency over time, the macro consistency. You can have micro inconsistency and still have macro consistency. And so
see, this is why we end with this. Like it is. It's good stuff, friends.
Yes. Well, thanks. Well, but I have thought about this a lot because I value and really, truly, if we get down to it, need that level of flexibility in my life. And that's why I'm doing this full time now. So I have to remind myself, this is exactly why I'm doing this, because I can have this flexibility and I have so much control over how to come back from this break or whatever. And it really helps me to actually be present and enjoy the break I'm taking, whether it's for leisure or because I'm sick or because I have other stuff going on. Like that is the beauty of it. So I set my store up in such a way that it can accommodate that, because that's like the main point of doing it this way, Does that make sense?
Yes. No. And it was perfect, guys. Like I like ending this way. We never got to my wet sold, but my wet solds are boring. So
clothes. Clothes sold.
I did. I sold clothes. As you were going through your listings, I was like jeans, shoes, jeans, shoes.
I like to rapid fire list them because they're so random, and that just makes me laugh, and I love it.
And mine are all the same. So I love the way that you said it, and having the inconsistencies with the consistency. My husband tells me that I am the most, let me say it right, I am the most consistent, inconsistent person he knows.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what does that even mean? Because I'm always like changing things, right? Like you just have to stay. And I'm like, I am consistently running a business. Right. But if I did the same thing every single day, then in a year, everything would change and I would not be changing with it. Like you're constantly strategizing and changing and moving and then allowing yourself,
look it up.
Right. Allowing yourself that grace to have those days off. I bank YouTube videos. I bank listings.
100%.
Yes. And so I'm ahead, and then processes is the way that I am a lot. Like I was sick this week. I still listed, I still shipped. I don't remember how many items I had go out, but I did them all because it takes me 2 minutes to do it. And I still listed in the morning because I have all those drafts there. I have to catch up from the day of taking it off, but it wasn't like, oh my God, like my everything's gonna end. It wasn't
Yeah.
gonna end. Mentally,
Yeah.
it was hard because I was like, I want to get all these things done for my
Yeah.
body.
Well,
Like
that's
mentally, I
true.
wanted to work, but my body was like, chill the F
No,
out, like go take a
you're
nap.
done.
Yes. We have one question, and then I do have to go get my kids.
Okay.
Can you explain the difference between padded and flat rate? Why you would choose one over the other?
Okay. There are multiple kinds of envelopes. This one that I was showing you is a padded flat rate envelope. It has like bubble inside of it built in. There are other flat rate envelopes that are not padded. So there's like I think three different kinds. And so they're just different sizes and made of different materials. They're all flat rates, but they have different rates. So that's the difference.
And it's essentially just like you would select one just depending on if it would fit.
Yes.
Most items that fit, like a padded flat rate is going to give the most flexibility and the biggest.
Yes.
Like I've tried to shove things in a flat rate envelope. I don't
Doesn't-
think this is not worth 30 cents. Like,
no. Yeah.
all right. On that note, I'm picking up my kids. This has been absolutely delightful. We will see you guys next week. It's not Thanksgiving, right? We're taking Thanksgiving off. We will see you next week. And
Yeah,
then
we'll see you the 18th. Yes, for sure.
the week after. Thank you guys. Good luck with your house.
Thanks. I'll let you know.
Yes, keep us posted.
Okay.
I mean, keep me posted.